Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive with me?
Always up for a deep dive.
Well, today we're tackling Work Simply, this fantastic book by Carson Tate.
Oh, I've heard great things about that one.
It's all about escaping that feeling of constant busyness, like you never have enough time to get everything done.
Totally. That feeling of overwhelm is so common these days. Everyone's always on and connected.
Exactly. And the book starts with this really gripping story about the author, how she actually missed her daughter taking her first steps because she was glued to her work.
Wow.
Such a powerful reminder that we need to find a way to work that doesn't cost us those precious moments in life.
Absolutely. It's not just about being more productive, it's about aligning your work with what truly matters to you so you can actually thrive.
That's a great point, and that leads perfectly into the core idea of the book, understanding your own personal productivity style.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Well, they use this fascinating whole brain model to break it down. Basically, it categorizes our thinking preferences into four distinct styles.
So it's like figuring out your productivity personality.
Exactly. And each style has its own strengths, weaknesses, and ways of approaching work.
Okay, I'm hooked. What are these styles?
Well, first up, we've got the prioritizers. These are the folks who are all about logic, efficiency, results. They love data, clear objectives, and concise communication.
Oh, no nonsense types.
Precisely. The book even mentions Steve Yankovich, a VP at eBay, as a great example of a prioritizer.
Someone who gets things done. What's next?
Next, we have the planners. Meticulously organized, love structure, thrive on detailed plans, think color-coded calendars, and perfectly organized to-do lists.
I know a few people like that. Always on top of everything.
Then we have the arrangers. They're incredible at building relationships, fostering teamwork, and making decisions based on intuition and empathy.
The heart of any team.
Absolutely. And last but not least, we have the visualizers.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Visualizers are the big picture thinkers, bursting with creative energy, drawn to flexibility and novelty, like a mental mood board where ideas are always swirling around.
I can almost picture it.
What's refreshing about the book is that it doesn't say one style's better than another. It's all about recognizing your dominant style and working with it, wouldn't you say?
100%. It's about playing to your strengths rather than constantly fighting against your natural tendencies.
Right. Now let's dive into some of the actionable strategies that the book offers. One that really struck me was attention management.
So crucial in our hyper-distracted world.
You know, the book shares this crazy statistic. It says that knowledge workers get interrupted on average every 3 minutes, and it can take almost half an hour to regain your focus.
That's really cool. So how would a visualizer, for example, manage their attention?
Well, since visualizers thrive on novelty, the book suggests they might benefit from switching up their work environment frequently to stay engaged.
Ah, so avoid monotony.
Precisely. The book even shares this anecdote about a consultant who carries around a portable lamp to brighten up dimly lit workspaces.
That's such a clever idea.
I know, right? Simple yet effective. Another compelling concept from the book is the idea of investing your time wisely. It challenges this notion that time can actually be managed. Instead, it suggests that time is a non-renewable resource, even more valuable than money.
Ooh, that's a powerful way to look at it.
Right. The book tells this great story about the author and her client Andi, a visualizer. The author offers her a choice, a small sum of money or some of her time back. Andi immediately offered up her time, but wouldn't part with money.
That speaks volumes.
It really does. And this leads us into the concept of theme days, particularly for arrangers and visualizers. Instead of rigidly scheduling every hour, it suggests structuring days around broader themes, like Team Day or Creative Day.
Ooh, I like that. So it's about focusing on the bigger picture, not getting bogged down by minute planning.
Exactly. The book even shares the example of Brigham, a visualizer, who organizes his entire week using this method.
So cool. Now let's tackle something I know a lot of people struggle with. Email.
The dreaded inbox. Well, the book introduces this fantastic framework called the Email Agility Circle. It's a simple but incredibly effective way to regain control.
I need this in my life. Tell me more.
It encourages us to break free from constantly checking our email and instead approach our inbox with a plan. It addresses common pitfalls like feeling obligated to be available all the time,
Oh, that constant availability pressure is real.
isn't it? And it offers tailored solutions based on each productivity style.
I love that. Personalized strategies.
One tip that stuck with me is the importance of addressing 4 key questions in every email to ensure clarity.
Hmm.
Who, why, what, and how. It sounds basic, but we often forget these essentials.
Yeah, and that leads to so much back and forth and confusion.
Totally. And again, the book tailors the email strategies to each productivity style. For example, for visualizers who might write long, meandering emails, it emphasizes being concise and making sure the key takeaways are upfront.
Makes perfect sense. Now, prepare for a bit of an unusual comparison as we move on to shaping your workspace for productivity.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The book actually uses a preschool classroom as an analogy.
A preschool classroom. Okay, now I'm really curious.
It might seem counterintuitive, but the book points out that the organized chaos of a preschool classroom, with its designated areas for different activities, can be an effective model. It suggests that we should approach our workspace in a similar way.
So it's about tailoring our work environment to our individual needs and preferences.
Exactly. And it offers specific space-shaping tips for each style. Like for prioritizers who thrive in clutter-free environments, it suggests keeping papers out of sight and opting for clean, functional furniture.
Makes sense. Everything in its place. How about arrangers?
For arrangers who value connection and warmth, it recommends incorporating personal mementos, warm colors, and soft lighting to create a more inviting atmosphere.
Such a great point. It's about creating a space that truly reflects your style and enhances your productivity. Now let's tackle a challenge many of us face. Delegation.
Uh-oh. Delegation can be tough.
The book dives into those psychological barriers we often encounter, like fear, perfectionism, or that feeling that it's just easier to do everything yourself.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well. It's hard to let go sometimes.
Absolutely. The book acknowledges those feelings while offering advice on how to overcome them. It reframes delegation as an act of empowerment, both for you and for your teammates.
That's a good perspective.
It even provides a framework for identifying tasks that are suitable for delegation and then communicating effectively with different styles when assigning those tasks.
Yeah.
It uses that same what, how, who, why approach we talked about with email.
Yes. Smart. Consistency is key.
Right. It's about setting clear expectations, providing the necessary resources, and learning to let go of the need to micromanage.
Sounds like a recipe for less stress and better teamwork.
Exactly. And now, get ready for a topic that I think will resonate with many listeners. Meetings.
Meetings, the bane of many a workday.
The book calls for a meeting revolution, and it starts with this humorous but thought-provoking anecdote.
Oh, I love a good anecdote. Let's hear it.
It tells the story of a senior leader, Roxanne, whose schedule was so packed with meetings that she actually ended up taking a work call in the bathroom.
No way.
It's a funny extreme, but it highlights how excessive meetings can rob us of our time and sanity.
And even our basic bodily functions, apparently.
Right. So the book challenges us to question the necessity of every meeting.
Instead of just automatically scheduling them.
Exactly. Could a quick email or a phone call suffice? It encourages a more mindful approach.
Love it. Quality over quantity.
And it offers advice on how to determine the best format, length, and participants for meetings, taking into account each productivity style.
So, what might work for a group of prioritizers could be a disaster for a team of visualizers, right?
Precisely. And for those meetings that are essential, the book emphasizes the value of a clear agenda, using something called the POWER framework.
Okay, tell me about this power framework.
It stands for purpose, outcomes, who, execution, and responsibility. It ensures that everyone is aligned and accountable.
That sounds incredibly useful. It goes beyond just listing topics. It's about defining the desired outcome and ensuring action steps are clear.
Exactly. Now, before we jump into the book's concluding chapter, which brings it all together, I think it's a good time to pause and let our listeners absorb everything we've covered so far.
Good idea. We've covered a lot of ground. Work Simply truly offers a powerful and personalized approach to navigating the complexities of modern work life.
It's not about becoming some sort of productivity machine. It's about discovering a way to work that feels authentic, energizing, and in sync with your unique style.
And in that spirit, maybe our listeners can start thinking about this. If you could wave a magic wand and make just one change to work more simply this week, what would it be?
What one small adjustment could you make to reclaim some of your time, energy, or focus? It could be as simple as setting boundaries around email, delegating a task, or even just taking a 5-minute break to clear your head. Something to ponder as we move into part 2.
Sounds like a plan. It's about recognizing that we have the power to make choices and shape our lives instead of constantly reacting to external pressures.
Like taking ownership, right?
Right.
Not just letting things happen to us, but being more proactive and deliberate in how we approach work and life.
Precisely. And that leads us to an important distinction the book highlights. the difference between busy work and real work.
Oh yeah, this really resonated with me too. It's so easy to get caught up in those tasks that keep you busy, but don't actually contribute to your bigger goals.
Right. Busy work can be a real trap. You feel like you're being productive, but you're not actually moving forward.
Exactly. The book encourages us to identify those busy work tasks and, whenever possible, delegate them.
Freeing up our time and mental energy for the real work, the work that aligns with our values and makes a difference.
And speaking of real-world application, the book is packed with these inspiring stories about real people who've actually put these principles into practice.
It's so motivating to see how these individuals from all walks of life have transformed their work and lives using the Work Simply approach.
Like it's not just theory, it actually works.
Exactly. It shows how powerful it can be to personalize your approach and find a work style that truly fits your strengths and values.
Remember Anani, the visualizer who had that aha moment about valuing her time? Well, the book shares how she completely revamped her schedule using theme days.
That's right. By structuring her week around those broader themes instead of rigidly scheduling every hour, she was able to create more time and space for both her career and her personal life.
And the results speak for themselves. She even ended up getting promoted to managing partner.
Wow, that's amazing.
It shows that working smarter, not just harder, can really pay off.
Absolutely.
And then there's Brigham, the creative director, who is feeling overwhelmed by the demands of his growing company.
His story is so relatable, especially for anyone in a creative field. It's so easy to lose sight of that creative spark when you're constantly putting out fires.
Totally. But Brigham made a conscious decision to carve out time for the activities that fueled his creativity.
He actually implemented Brigham Day into his weekly schedule.
I love that. A whole day dedicated to brainstorming, reading, exploring new ideas.
And the impact was incredible. Not only did he personally feel more energized and inspired, but his company also benefited from his renewed creativity.
It proves that prioritizing those activities that bring you joy and allow you to tap into your strengths can lead to both personal and professional success.
Definitely. And then we have Colin, the attorney, who was caught in that classic trap of thinking that working longer hours meant being more successful.
A hustle culture mentality.
He was pushing himself to the limit, working 90-plus hours a week, and it was taking a toll on his well-being.
It's a recipe for burnout.
But Colin eventually realized that this unsustainable approach wasn't serving him or his business.
So he decided to challenge those limiting beliefs and redefine his relationship with work.
He started setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and focusing on working smarter, not just harder.
And guess what? He actually ended up being more productive and fulfilled.
It's a reminder that taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's essential for sustainable success.
These are just a few examples, but the book is filled with so many inspiring stories that show how Work Simply can be applied across different fields and lifestyles.
It's a reminder that we're not alone in these struggles, and there are practical solutions out there.
And that's what makes Work Simply so powerful. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's a toolbox filled with strategies that you can adapt to your own needs and goals.
It's about empowering you to take control of your work life and design a way of working that truly aligns with who you are and what you want to achieve.
So as we wrap up our exploration of Work Simply, I'm sure our listeners are wondering, what are those key takeaways? What are those practical steps I can start implementing today to work smarter and reclaim my time and energy?
Well, the book conveniently provides a concise summary of its main principles, a perfect roadmap for anyone ready to start putting these ideas into action.
So without further ado, let's dive into those 10 essential takeaways from Work Simply.
Number 1, embrace your productivity style. There's no right or wrong way to work. It's about understanding your natural tendencies and finding a system that supports your unique way of thinking and working.
Number 2, manage your attention. Recognize that your attention is a valuable resource and learn to protect it from distractions. Create an environment that helps you focus and minimize interruptions.
Number 3, invest your time wisely. Stop trying to manage time and instead view it as a finite and precious investment. Make conscious choices about how you spend your time and align your schedule with your values and priorities.
Number 4, tame your inbox. Implement the email agility circle to streamline your email management and free up hours of lost time.
Number 5, shape your workspace. Create a physical environment that supports your productivity style and enhances your energy and focus. Whether it's clean and minimalist or warm and inviting, make your workspace a place where you can thrive.
Number 6, delegate effectively. Overcome those mental barriers to delegation and learn to empower your teammates. By sharing the workload, you can free up your time for the tasks that only you can do.
Number 7, lead a meeting revolution. Challenge the necessity of every meeting and explore alternative ways to achieve your objectives. When meetings are essential, utilize the Power Agenda framework to ensure they're productive and results-oriented.
Number 8, foster strong working relationships. Understand the productivity styles of your colleagues and team members and learn to communicate and collaborate in a way that minimizes conflict and maximizes everyone's strengths.
Number 9, streamline paper management. Implement a system for handling paper documents that reduces clutter and maximizes efficiency. Whether it's going paperless or creating a clear filing system, find a method that works for you.
And finally, number 10, work simply, live fully. Remember that this is about more than just being productive at work. It's about creating a life that is meaningful, balanced, and aligned with your passions and aspirations.
These 10 principles provide a powerful framework for anyone looking to create a work life that is not only productive, but also fulfilling and aligned with their authentic selves.
And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. What one change could you make this week to simplify your work life? What one small adjustment could you make to reclaim some of your time, energy, or focus?
It could be as simple as setting boundaries around email, delegating a task, or taking a few minutes for mindful reflection.
Sometimes the smallest changes can have the biggest impact. So what will your one change be? It's amazing how small tweaks can sometimes make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Little things add up and can lead to a more positive and productive work environment.
And if any of our listeners out there are feeling inspired and want to explore these ideas even further, I highly recommend checking out Work Simply.
It's full of practical advice, relatable stories, and it even has some self-assessments to help you figure out your own personal productivity style.
It's a book that could really change the way you approach work and even life in general, encouraging you to think about your priorities and make sure your actions are aligned with your values.
It's like an invitation to create a work life that supports your well-being, fuels your passions, and helps you thrive both inside and outside the office.
So until our next deep dive, we encourage you to try out the Work Simply principles and start building that fulfilling and balanced work life.
Remember, you have the power to create a work experience that aligns with your goals and allows you to truly flourish.
Happy simplifying, everyone.